Now, between 1800 and 1845, there was an average of about 14 famines in Ireland. So the people were well used to hunger. Didn't bother them really. They had become totally existent on one food source. And that food source was the potato. Now, it wasn't a potato like you or I would know today or buy in the shop or eat on our dinner this evening. This potato was called a lumper. It was a huge big brute of a thing, and the idea of it was that it gave a great amount of yield for a small amount sown, and it was ideal for the people of the day, because the people of the 1800s here in Ireland were living on small acreages of land rented at exorbitant prices from landlords who didn't give a damn as long as they got the money from them. And that money was taken from them on what was known as Gale Day or Rent Day. Once a year, big fair, the landlord squire was there in the hall or the town hall or whatever they were using at the time, and he would collect the rent. You hadn't got the rent, you were out. You were on the side of the street. Go do what you like. Yourself, your kids, your family, out. You were gone. You were dead in a week. Simple as that. Because there was nothing there to sustain you if you hadn't got the rent. What they were doing, they were renting 4, 5, 6 acres of land, maybe 10 acres of land. And the potato was ideal because on that 10 acres of land they could split it up. They could feed a cow or two on it, graze it. They could also grow a couple of acres for grain, which would help pay the rent. But most of all, they could sow the potatoes, which fed them for over 10 months of the year. And the animals. Now, to keep everything as cheap as possible and to try and not look as if they were making any kind of a life of existence, they were living in mud hut hovels. Now let's be under no illusion. These mud hut hovels are basically mud walls with a bit of straw roof or a thatch roof or grass roof on top of it. No chimney, no windows, just a doorway. Inside the house, everybody was living together. Huddled together on the floor, no furniture, maybe 1 or 2 of those skillet pots, you've probably seen the 3-legged pots. And that would cook the potatoes for the meal, for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, or for any time they were going to eat. It was potatoes. And they reckon an average man ate a stone of potatoes a day at that time. Now, at night time, the animals were brought in, and the fowl, and the pig was brought into this hut as well, for safety. And for warmth. Everybody slept together. So they were living in mud hut hovels. Believe me, there was no sanitary conditions of any kind. Any waste, human or otherwise, was literally fired outside the front door. But that waste served a purpose too, because that served as fertiliser. But it also made them look as poor as possible, so that when the landlord done his rounds and decided that Pa Joe over there was going to pay £5 more this year because his house looked a bit cleaner, and that's the simplicity of it.